The road didn't get any easier the following week as a furious fourth quarter rally came up short in a 38-34 loss at Oklahoma State. The Cowboys took advantage of 3 K-State turnovers, including this 63-yard interception returned by Darren Williams to open up an early lead. Playing from behind for much of the day, K-State turned to its passing game, and L. Roberson and company responded with 332 yards through the air, which included this spectacular catch by James Terry.
Cats trailing 14-7, second period. Roberson up under Lecky, back to throw, has some time, under pressure now, throws it, Terry is there, he juggles at the 5, touchdown! He juggled it and then caught it and got in there for the touchdown. It's 14-13.
Another interception by Williams late in the third quarter set the table for a 14-point Cowboy lead, and OSU eventually stretched the margin to 17 with a 50-yard field goal. All K-State needed was more time as they drove up and down the field in the final quarter to close the gap to 4.
Kansas State 3rd and 11. Back to throw is L. Roberson. Wide open. This is at the 5. Touchdown for Thomas Hill. Polite goes to the left. So does Terry. Wide receiver right. Here's the middle screen to Terry. Breaks a tackle 20, 15. He's at the 10. 5. Dives. Touchdown. Touchdown James Terry and the Wildcats.
OSU recovered an onside kick and then ran out the clock to preserve a 38-34 win in Stillwater and dropped the Wildcats to 3-3 on the season. Down but not out was the theme the following week because thanks to some other upsets, K-State still controlled its own destiny in the Big 12 North despite an 0-2 start in conference play. With Roberson and several key defenders now closer to full speed, K-State began its run to the Big 12 championship game with a dominating stretch of football over the next 6 weeks that left the rest of the Big 12 in its wake. First up was the defending Big 12 champion Colorado Buffaloes, who K-State manhandled 49-20 at KSU Stadium. Roberson threw for 3 touchdowns and ran for 2 more scores as K-State scored its most points ever against the Buffaloes. Rashad Washington blocked 2 punts, and the Wildcats scored on both as the Cats erupted for 34 second-half points.
Good snap, pressure, blocked! The Wildcats block it. Rashad blocks it. It's being chased into the end zone, and it's going to be a Kansas State touchdown, or no, it's going to go out of bounds. 1st and 10 from the 40 of the Buffaloes. Back to throw is L in the shotgun. Looking, fires far side. Davin Dennis, 15, 10, 5, touchdown! 40 yards. Cats moving from right to left. Ball on the far hash. Roberson throws it to Terry in the middle. He's got it at the 10, 5, touchdown Kansas State. Terry lined up on the left, a crossing route, catches it and takes it in for the touchdown. Josh Buell, over 100 tackles this year coming into today. Torp will punt, blocked again. It's blocked again and it's into the end zone. The Wildcats will fall on it for a score. Wildcats 3rd and goal from the 8. Roberson in the shotgun. Looks right. Throws that way. That ball is caught by Terry. Touchdown. James Terry here on the near sideline. 2 receivers to the left side. Here's the snap. The turn and the give is to Sproles. Darren has it at the 15. 10-5. Touchdown Kansas State.
More importantly, the Wildcats were healthy again and played turnover-free football for the first time since the season opener. And the Buffs were the first to find out how good this team was capable of playing as K-State rolled over CU 49-20. Any talk from the East about KU ending K-State's decade-long dominance of this series was quickly squelched the following week as K-State dismantled Kansas again, crushing the Jayhawks for the 11th consecutive time, 42-6. Darren Sproles became the Wildcats' all-time leading rusher as he ran for 98 yards and blew the game open in a span of less than 2 minutes in the second quarter.
2nd and goal from the 7. Wideouts left and right. The backs are split behind L. Roberson hands it off Sproles. He's at the 5. He's in. Touchdown, Darren Sproles. Good snap by the Hawks. Here's the kick on the way. Wobbly kick. Sproles looks up, fields it at the 37, to the 40, 45, midfield, breaks a tackle, 45-40. Darren moving at the 30, 25-20, 15-10-5. Wildcat touchdown. 63 yards for the brilliant Darren Sproles.
Sproles' punt return capped a 21-point second quarter for the Wildcats as they strolled into the locker room with a commanding 28-3 lead. The second half belonged to the Lynch Mob as they held KU to 40 yards and just 3 first downs in the second half. In fact, KU managed just 160 yards on offense and 7 first downs for the entire game.
Trips to the left, wide receiver to the right is Brandon Rito. There's the fake to the back, and Whittemore will run. Got by one man, and down he goes at the 38, and the ball is loose. K-State's got it! K-State's got it! Rashad Washington! 3rd and 5.5 from the 24. Whittemore fakes to Green. Pressure from Andrew Shull. He steps up and throws deep. That ball is intercepted. Randy Jordan at the 35. Back to the 40, 45, 50, and down to the Kansas 47-yard line. John Nielsen out of San Diego and Palomar Community College. It's a delay to Randall, and he is stopped at the 30-yard line for a loss by Brian Hickman. Nielsen in the shotgun from his 21. He's in trouble, and down he goes. He's swallowed up back at the 19-yard line. Jayhawks with it. Here's Nielsen looking left, throwing that way. Gordon caught it, and he's hit by Mack for a loss at the 29, a loss of 5.
In a dominant performance from the beginning to end, K-State keeps its firm hold on the Governor's Cup with a 42-6 victory. K-State's march to Kansas City continued the following week as the Wildcats offense overcame a slow start to defeat Baylor 38-10 at KSU Stadium. The Wildcat defense kept the opponent out of the end zone for the second straight week, holding Baylor to 213 yards of offense and only 14 first downs. K-State took a 7-3 lead on this spectacular 22-yard touchdown catch by James Terry, but Baylor answered right back with its lone touchdown of the game on a 98-yard kickoff return for a touchdown by Robert Quiroga to give the Bears a 10-7 lead in the second quarter. The Wildcats regained the lead a couple of possessions later with a 98-yard touchdown drive capped by this 14-yard pass from Roberson to Terry.
L in the shotgun, retreats past the 20, back to the 25. Now rolling left, has some time, escapes from one man, now throws. That ball is caught by Terry for a touchdown. Oh my goodness, that is some kind of play.
The Wildcats scored 10 quick points to begin the second half as Roberson and Terry hooked up for their third touchdown.
2nd and 4. Back to throw is L. Looking left, pump fakes left. Now he's wanting his man deep. Terry has it out there at the 10. Sidesteps a man at the 5. Touchdown, Kansas State. The third of the day. That's 39 yards, and the Wildcats have scored with 6:54 to go here in period 3.
The defense again dominated the second half and finished with 7 sacks, including 3 by defensive end Andrew Shull.
Baylor 3rd and 8 from their own 20. The crowd making some noise here at the stadium. Back to throw is Karras from the gun. Pressured backside. Down he goes! Andrew Shull! It's 3rd and 13. Baylor from their own 45. Pressure again, and Shull with the sack. Back inside the 40 at the 37-yard line. Andrew Shull with his second of the day, a loss of 8.
K-State improves to 6-3 with a 38-10 victory over Baylor. Despite holding a 9-game winning streak over Iowa State, the Wildcats have at times found Iowa State's Jack Trice Stadium a difficult place to play as well. That wasn't the case this time, as the Wildcats outyarded the Cyclones 503-140 in a 45-0 shutout. It marked the first shutout of the season for the Wildcats, but it was the 3rd consecutive game that the defense did not allow an offensive touchdown. More impressive, it continued a tradition of dominant K-State defenses. Since Bill Snyder's arrival in Manhattan, K-State has posted 19 shutouts, including at least 1 in each of the past 10 seasons. Safety James McGill registered his 4th interception of the season, while Cedric Williams began to emerge as one of the Big 12's top corners with his 2nd pick of the season. On offense, the day belonged to Darren Sproles, who ripped the Cyclones for a then career-high 201 yards in just over 3 quarters of work, including TD runs of 23, 70, and 32 yards.
1st and 10 from the 23. Option left for Roberson. Great pitch. Darren at the 15, at the 10, 5. Touchdown! Touchdown Wildcats! Roberson turns, hands it off to Sproles. 35-40. Darren at midfield. To the 40. Angles left to the 30. He is at the 20. Sproles at the 10, 5. Did he get in? Yes! Touchdown! Second career for Cedric Williams, and this is Sproles right side. Darren with a crease. He is to the 15, 10, 5, touchdown again.
K-State improves to 7-3 with a 45-0 shutout in Ames. November 15th, 2003. This was the day that had been circled on the calendar of countless K-State fans for the past year. With 3 consecutive victories over Nebraska in Manhattan, including a 49-13 victory in 2002 that represented the worst Husker loss since 1968, K-State was now in position to unseat Nebraska as the preeminent program in the Big 12 North. All that stood in its way was a road victory in Lincoln, something that had not happened since 1968. With a share of the Big 12 North at stake, K-State handed Nebraska its worst home loss since 1958 with a 38-9 victory, as the Cats became just the 6th team in the last 107 games to escape Memorial Stadium with a win. Darren Sproles set the tone for the day with this remarkable first quarter run for a touchdown.
2nd and 10 from the 22. Roberson option, short side right. Good pitch to Darren. Sproles at the 20. He's at the 15, 10, 5, chugging. Touchdown, Darren Sproles. That is amazing. 22 yards for Darren Sproles. His 13th rushing touchdown of the year. How about that play for the Wildcats?
Sproles would have his 2nd consecutive huge day against the Huskers, this time with a workmanlike 140 yards on 25 carries. But this day truly belonged to senior quarterback El Roberson, who overcame some early turnovers and a K-State defense that held the NU offense to 77 yards and no points in the second half. Brian Hickman set the tone for the second half with this hit on Jamal Lord that gave K-State the ball at the NU 23.
K-State with a 4-man front and showing blitz. Lord is hit, popped up into the air, intercepted at the 22 by Shull. Andrew Shull from Webb City, Missouri. Just as Lord was wanting to let it go, he got hammered. It went straight up in the air, and Andrew Shull with the interception.
4 plays later, Roberson slashed in from 11 yards out, and K-State had the lead for good.
1st and 10. Here's Roberson on the option to the short side. Fakes the pitch. He's at the 10, 5. Touchdown, El Roberson and Kansas State. And for the 2nd time today, the Wildcats have a lead against the Huskers. It's 13-7.
A 70-yard drive on the next possession resulted in this 27-yard field goal by Joe Ream, and the Wildcats opened up a 17-7 advantage late in the 3rd quarter. Roberson and James Terry would then hook up twice in the 4th quarter, and before Nebraska knew what hit him, K-State had opened up a commanding 31-7 lead.
Roberson pump fake left, now throws left down the sideline to Terry. He's got it at the 30. He's at the 20, 10, 5, touchdown Kansas State. The Wildcats have scored on a 63-yard play, and they lead 23-7 with 14 and a half minutes to play. 3rd and 18, Wildcats from the Husker 37. From the gun, here's L. Retreats back almost to midfield. Now down the middle, he's got Terry at the 5. Touchdown Wildcats! Kansas State converts a 3rd and 18, and they get 37 yards and another score. Wow, 30-7 K-State.
Io Saba put the finishing touches on K-State's win for the ages with this 6-yard touchdown plunge, and the celebration was on as K-State clinched a share of the Big 12 North crown with a 38-9 win over number 18 Nebraska. The Wildcats' 5th straight win propelled K-State back into the national polls at the number 19 position, but it all would have been meaningless without a win the following week against an improved Missouri team. The Tigers entered the game with a shot at the Big 12 North crown, but on a cold November night, K-State put the ball into the hands of Darren Sproles 43 times, and the All-American responded with a career-best 273 yards and 2 scores to lead the Wildcats to a comfortable 24-14 victory.
K-State will send 2 receivers wide to the far side left. I formation set. Victor Mann gets the start. Here's Sproles left side, 45-40. 35-30, and down to the 29-yard line is Darren Sproles. James Terry goes in motion from right to left. It's an option pitch to Sproles right side. Great block. He walks in. Touchdown Wildcats. Darren Sproles will score on the ground for the 14th time this year. 2nd down and 4 Cats from the 37. Here's the turn and the give to Darren. He's got it at the 40, 45 into midfield, almost to the 49 of Missouri. 3rd and 3 from the 43. I formation set. Here's the pitch right side to Darren Sproles. Good block, 40. He's at the 35-30. And out at the 25-yard line is Darren Sproles. Victor Mann turns around and says something to Darren Sproles in that eye as the Wildcats change the play. Sproles straight ahead, 40, 45, midfield. Nice cut at the 45, all the way to the Missouri 40-yard line. Are you kidding? I formation set. Receivers to the right side. L turns, gives the ball off to Darren Sproles. Sproles to the 25, 30, 35-yard line. And that may do it for Darren Sproles. David Overstreet to stop. He had 247 yards prior to that, and now at 258, the single game leader at Kansas State all time. Congratulations, Mr. Darren Sproles.
By halftime, Sproles had already rushed for 186 yards, outgaining the entire Missouri offense, which produced just 99 yards in the first half. Missouri's talented quarterback Brad Smith was pressured by a relentless K-State defense, which held Missouri to just 12 first downs in the entire game, while Smith managed just 26 yards on 16 carries.
Trips to the right for Brad Smith and crew. There's the snap, he's in the gun. Looks right, looks middle, under pressure. Scholl with the sack, back at the 49-yard line. Two receivers to the right, Darius Outlaw to the left. Nash in the game as the running back, and Smith to throw, being pressured by Berry. Rolls to the right and throws. That ball is intercepted in the end zone by Lewis Lavender. Lewis Lavender picks it off in the end zone for the Wildcats with 7:02 to go in the third. Brad Smith is in the shotgun. Retreats back to near his 25, and he goes down. It's Scott Edmonds with the sack.
K-State rolls over MU for the 11th consecutive season and captures its third berth in the Big 12 championship game with a 24-14 win on senior night at KSU Stadium.
And just 10 seconds remain in the game. The Wildcats 10 seconds away from being the Big 12 North Division champions and 2 weeks away from a date with number 1 Oklahoma. They set the chains, they roll the clock. We will not have another play. Kansas State, champions of the Big 12 North after starting 0-2. They finished 6-2 with a 6-game winning streak. They beat Missouri here tonight 24-14.